What's up, guys, and welcome back to the G-Red Show. I'm G-Red. We got to talk Barcelona today. There's a lot of interesting transfer rumors. What's going to happen to Barcelona in the summer transfer window? This could actually be one of the more interesting summers Barcelona has from a transfer standpoint in several years. I also want to touch on briefly the match against Valencia and three players in particular that I'm very concerned with. So we'll touch on that too. The transfers I want to talk about first, right? We all know Barca needs a left winger and a CDM. Zubimendi, Kimmich, or Onana, those seem like the three top prospects. I prefer Kimmich just because I've watched him the most. I know he's successful. He's not old, but he's not young. He's like, 27, 28. So a good 4 or 5 years you get from him, which ideally you'd want someone a little younger, but he's got the mentality, the winning mentality. He comes from Bayern, knows what it takes to win, won the Champions League. I love it. Now, there's a lot of people that say he's not a full-blown CDM. You know, he's a very versatile player, plays right back, plays a center mid, plays CDM. He is a defensive-minded player at heart, which helps Barcelona at the end of the day, right? It frees up Frankie de Jong and Gundogan and allows them to attack more, which I would love to see Frankie in more of that position. So that's going to be interesting if they keep Frankie and get a CDM. I'm excited to see how Frankie does, where he doesn't have to play that, super deep CDM role. I'm not really familiar with the other two as much, Onana and Zubimendi. I'm not as familiar with their game, so I would have to see more, and I'm sure, regardless, I'd be happy with the signings either way, because it's what Barcelona needs. Now, the left winger situation has gotten more interesting. Nico Williams is, from a financial standpoint, probably the best option for your money. He's extremely fast. He's quick. He's going to create a lot of opportunities, which I love. Barcelona needs the pace. They need to be able to compete with Real Madrid's pace. They're so fast. I mean, Mbappe, assuming goes there, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Mendy, and then I feel like Real Madrid's whole defense, Real Madrid's back four, they're all fast. So you need to be able to compete with that and beat guys with your pace. Barcelona has to incorporate that. That's a great move if they can make it happen. Now, Xavi Simons, as of the last day or so, his name's been thrown into the mix. Barcelona want to bring him back. I don't know why they made the mistake in 2019 to not agree on a contract with him, being that he's so young. It couldn't have been that expensive. They sell him to PSG. PSG then, in 2022 or something, sends him to PSV. Now he's back at PSG. Loaned out to Leipzig. I did a little digging. I can't really find a specific release clause because there's so much. He was loaned out. He's back at PSG, so I couldn't really find one. So financially, I don't know how Barcelona is able to do this, but if they could bring him back, sign him long-term, he's 21, so much potential. He's so skilled. 9 years in La Masia. It makes sense. I'm all for it if they can make this signing or the Nico Williams signing. I'd probably prefer Xavi Simons, but at the end of the day, I'd be happy either or. What makes me nervous, though, is it's been said several times by Xavi, Deco, Laporta, they're happy with the majority of their squad. Now, there's some players like Inigo Martinez and Romeu, Marcos Alonso. Well, he's already, I guess, leaving at the end of the season, but those are names I expect that they should sell. But I'm nervous. After the Valencia match, Lewandowski said, I'm not leaving. He said, in 2 years, I will still be here, which makes me very nervous because he's going to be making even more money next year. They can't afford it. They can't afford his bad attitude, his lack of play in big matches, his lack of goal-scoring ability in big matches. It's not worth it. I understand he's under contract, but they cannot be spending this much money on Lewandowski at 36 years old. He's going to be one of the highest paid players, I think, in the world. In Europe, you're not getting that type of production from him. Xavi also stated he wants to keep Frankie de Jong. I do too. But if it frees up the money, and you can sell him for 80, 90 million, it makes a lot of sense. Especially if you find reinforcements with Bernardo Silva and Kimmich / Zubimendi, Onana, whatever, right? I'm also concerned with Rafinha. There's not that much talk from, besides these random sources that they're going to get rid of him. I don't know if Tottenham is still interested, if any other English clubs are interested. Those seem like they would be the clubs to go after him. I'm a little nervous. I don't know how Barcelona is going to do in the transfer window if they don't sell these players. So it looks like Lewandowski's going to stay. I just don't think any major transfers are going to leave. I don't think many players are going to be sold this summer. Big name players. And that's what we've heard. A big name is going to leave this summer. Araujo, Lewandowski, Rafinha, Frankie de Jong. I don't think any of them do. So I'm nervous from that standpoint because they're tight on money as it is. I would for sure sell. You have to find a way to get rid of Lewandowski. That's like a no-brainer. And then I would get rid of Ferran Torres. I would be on the fence about Joao Cancelo, which we'll get to. And then Frankie de Jong or Rafinha. I feel like one of them has to go. It's just, I would prefer Frankie to stay, but Rafinha provides a lot of pace and he makes good runs and he's been doing better and better each match. I don't know. It's a toss up. I'm not the coach. I'm not the manager. I'm not involved. So, my opinion means nothing. I'm just interested more so from a spectator's point of view to see what they do. In regards to the Valencia match, Barcelona was extremely lucky to win. The red card is why they won. If the red card did not happen against Valencia, I don't know if Barcelona wins that match. Even with 10 men, Valencia had a couple opportunities to score. And I'm going to say this again, right? Araujo's mistake against PSG, it's forgotten, right? It sucks. It's going to stick with us, but it is what it is. It's over with, right? Barcelona still should have been able to win that game, even with 10 men. It would have been hard. There's no way they should have conceded 4 goals. That was ridiculous. The fact that people want to sell him for that mistake is ridiculous, but it's dumb. It doesn't make sense. But he makes a dumb mistake in the match. Slide tackle from behind, doesn't touch the ball. I mean, honestly, is he dumb? You already made an awful mistake against PSG and you do the same thing in the box, sliding from behind. I'm genuinely concerned that he's mentally not all there at times. It's very, very strange, some of these, these questionable tackles. And that was what? 2 weeks ago, not even. I couldn't believe it when he actually made that tackle. Ter Stegen makes me incredibly nervous. He acts too cute, tries to act like he's a midfielder with the ball. I mean, the one goal was completely his fault. He definitely could have just cleared the ball. I understand that, the build-up play, the way that the ball got there, it shouldn't have even happened to begin with, but he's a liability a lot. Has he made great saves and saved Barcelona throughout the years? Yes, but there's been a lot of times where he could have saved some of these goals. He gives the ball away in bad situations. He plays with the ball in front of the net too much. If you watch Barca consistently, you're going to know what I'm talking about, and he makes me very nervous, so I can only imagine he makes a lot of you nervous as well. Then last, Joao Cancelo, he doesn't want to defend. He just doesn't want to. And as a defender, that is your main priority. I don't know how many times he loses the ball trying to dribble out of the back. How many times he tries to cross and it doesn't even make it to someone. It's short. It goes out of bounds. He tries the Trivela cross outside of the foot. Never does anything. He tries to be too fancy. I understand why Bayern and Man City didn't want him. He is a huge reason Barcelona let up a lot of goals against PSG over those 2 legs in Real Madrid. Very frustrating, and I am on the fence bringing him back. If Barcelona ran a 5-4-1 or a 5-3-2 or some other formation, or a formation where they had 5 in the back and him and, assuming Balde is healthy, those are the 2 outside wing backs, then it's a completely different story because you have Koundé, Araujo, and Cabarsi as your center backs, and you don't need to track back as much, which, side note, I think that could actually be interesting if Barcelona tried that in certain matches because both those players are very fast, and it really helps, the left and right side of the field. That would actually be interesting to see if that would ever work, but if Barcelona is running 4 in the back, he has to track back. He has to make good tackles. There's so many times he makes lazy tackles, just sticks his foot out. He's not getting his body in front of the ball. It's becoming more and more of an issue, and we're noticing in these big matches. Now we're seeing it more consistently. There's a lot of interesting stuff that's happening. Unfortunately, it looks like Louis will stay. He scored 2 headers and a free kick. The free kick was nice, but I mean, dude, where is this against PSG? Where is this against Real Madrid? We don't see it in the big matches. And he's getting all this money. Another 2 years he wants to be here. This is going to just destroy plans of Vitor Roque. He has no confidence, and he's a player that needs confidence, that needs a pat on the back, that needs consistency, and he needs the, hey, keep up the good work. He needs the positivity. You can see he has nerves when he steps on the pitch, and it's normal because he doesn't play. He's the future. That's why you got him, to be hypothetically that new guy. They don't play him. Now they're talking about loaning him out potentially. That would be the worst possible solution. The absolute worst thing they could do. It's going to mess with his head, his confidence. I'm completely against it, and they better find a way to work him into the squad more and play him next season. That cannot be a failed transfer. There's no way. So there's a lot of different interesting stuff happening. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you guys on board with selling any of these major players like Araujo, Frankie? Obviously, it looks like Lewandowski's staying. Do you want to extend Joao Felix and Joao Cancelo? Let me know your thoughts about that. And then who would you guys like to see brought in as a CDM and a left winger? Is it Xavi Simons? Is it Nico Williams? Is it Zubimendi, Kimmich, or Onana? Let me know your thoughts down below. If you guys made it this far, I appreciate you guys sticking around, and I hope to see you guys back here next time on the G-Red Show.